Pipeline Studio is about understanding your workflow and knowing when it's running smoothly. Temporal debt is paid. Temporal debt is never erased by motion. It is only delayed. Eventually, the system reaches a point where time is required and no longer available. That moment does not arrive as a single failure. It arrives as compression. Margins disappear. Decisions stack. Every task takes slightly longer than expected. Nothing catastrophic happens. Everything just becomes harder. This is how temporal debt is paid. Payment rarely occurs where the debt was created. It occurs under pressure at scale, and often in places that lack the context to resolve it cleanly. Finished work becomes heavier. Normalization becomes corrective instead of stabilizing. Human judgment is asked to reconcile contradictions it did not introduce. The system slows not because it stopped moving, but because it is carrying unresolved time while trying to move forward. At this stage, speed no longer conceals the debt, it amplifies it. Every shortcut taken earlier reduces the system's ability to respond now. Every deferred decision narrows the range of acceptable outcomes. What was once optional becomes mandatory. What was once flexible becomes brittle. This is why temporal debt feels sudden when it comes due. Not because it formed quickly, but because it was distributed quietly. By the time payment is required, the system has already committed to paths it cannot easily reverse. Attempts to fix everything at this point usually fail. The debt is too diffuse. The cost is too high. Stopping is no longer an option. So the system improvises. It adds process. It adds checks. It adds layers meant to stabilize what should have been aligned earlier. These measures buy time, but they do not remove the debt. They convert it into overhead. Eventually, the system reaches equilibrium again, but at a lower efficiency than before. This is the true cost of temporal debt. Not collapse, not failure, but drag. Pipelines that survive this phase do so by recognizing what is happening. They stop treating slowdown as a performance problem. They treat it as a timing problem. They identify where time was borrowed. They decide which debts must be paid and which can be carried intentionally. This is not cleanup, it is triage. Some debts are amortized, some are written off, some are paid directly at cost. What matters is that the system regains awareness of time. Temporal debt is dangerous only when it is unconscious. Once seen, it can be managed. Pipelines that collapse are not the ones with the most debt. They are the ones that encounter payment without preparation. Pipelines that endure accept a harder truth. You cannot move faster than reconciliation forever. You can only choose when and how the cost is paid. Temporal debt is the price of continuity under pressure. Paid deliberately, it preserves the system. Ignored, it eventually dictates the terms. This is the final function of the arc. Temporal debt forms. Temporal debt is carried, temporal debt is paid. Together, they describe not a failure mode, but a reality of systems that choose to keep moving. And once that reality is understood, time stops being an invisible liability. It becomes a variable the pipeline knows how to handle. What matters most at this stage is not speed, but awareness. Once payment begins, pretending nothing has changed only accelerates damage. The system must recognize that time has become constrained and respond accordingly. This is where mature pipelines diverge. Instead of demanding the same output under new conditions, they adjust expectations. They slow selectively. They restore alignment where it yields the most leverage. This is not retreat. It is recovery. Temporal debt is resolved not by panic but by intent. When systems acknowledge payment, they regain control over how that payment is made. When they refuse to acknowledge it, the cost is extracted indiscriminately. This is why payment is the final act of discipline, not correction, not blame, but choice. This concludes this session. Let what you've heard settle before continuing.